Hello everyone, this is Ratika Roy Bhattacharya. I welcome you all on my YouTube channel Study Together with Ratika. In the last video, we started a new chapter of 8th standard, that is materials, metals and non-metals. In that video, we also discussed about physical properties of metals and non-metals. Today we are going to discuss about chemical properties and their uses. So one by one we will start with chemical properties of metals and then non-metals. So the first one is reaction with oxygen. So we know that whenever any metal reacts with oxygen, an oxide is formed that is known as a metal oxide. Okay. Now this metal oxide, when it is treated with an indicator or when it is checked with an indicator, we come to know that this is basic in nature. And we also know how we can differentiate between acids and bases with the help of an indicator. So, the metals react with oxygen to form metallic oxides and the non-metals react with oxygen to form non-metallic oxides. As the metal oxides are basic in nature, non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Now, this type of process in which the oxygen is getting added up, this type of process is known as oxidation process. So, we notice oxidation process in our day-to-day activities also. So, one by one we will see all the examples. First of all, we will see examples of metals. The first one is rusting. Now, what is rusting? So, the rusting process requires three major conditions. First is the presence of iron object, second oxygen, and third is humidity. Okay, humidity, or you can call it as moisture. The moisture which is present in our atmosphere, it is the major ingredient which causes rusting. Okay, so whenever an iron object, it gets oxygen and a humid environment, an iron oxide layer is formed on its surface. Okay, for example, in this diagram you can see this blue bar, it shows the iron object and there is a formation of yellow color. Here I have shown yellow color, but in reality the iron oxide color is reddish brown. Okay, so from all the sides it is getting oxygen and water. Water means moisture which is present in the air. So in the presence of oxygen and water, iron oxide layer is formed, which is known as rusting process. The second is burning a magnesium ribbon. We know that magnesium is a metal. When it reacts with oxygen, it forms magnesium oxide. Okay. Now, after burning, the ash which is produced, if we mix it with water and we get it tested using an indicator like a litmus paper, we will find that the red litmus turn into blue color, that is the bases turn red litmus blue. That is why we can say that these metallic oxides are basic in nature. Now, surface, you must have seen on the copper utensils that you have at your home that a green color substance is found on its surface if it is exposed in the air for a long time. Okay, what happens? This copper, the water which is present in the atmosphere, this copper reacts with water, carbon dioxide and the oxygen which is present in the air, and it forms copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. That green color is because of the combination of copper hydroxide and copper carbonate that are formed. These are some of the 2 or 3 examples of metals, of the oxidation of metals. If you know more examples, please write in the comment section so that our students come to know more about it. Now, if we talk about non-metals, sulfur is one of the non-metals. When it reacts with oxygen, it forms sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide, when it reacts with water which is present in the atmosphere, or if we manually do this activity, we will find that sulfurous acid is formed, which is acidic in nature. Let's see with the help of a diagram. In this diagram, we have a glass jar which is transparent. We have this deflagrating spoon which has a special type of bending at one end so that we can hang it in the glass jar. We will take small amount of sulfur in the spoon and start burning it. When it reacts with oxygen of the atmosphere or of the air, it starts to produce some fumes. Okay. Now we want this fume not to leave the jar, so we can cover this jar with the help of a lid. This type of lid we have. After some time, we can add small amount of water drop by drop, and again the fumes will be produced, but after that a solution will be formed that is actually known as sulfurous acid H2SO3, which is acidic in nature. How do we know about its acidity? We will take the solution and we will get it tested using an indicator. So it will turn blue litmus red and by this procedure we can say that it is acidic in nature. Okay, so this was the example of non-metals. Okay, now we will see how the metals react with water. The metals react with water and forms metal hydroxide, whereas non-metals do not show any reaction with the water. Okay. Here we have 2 points which should be noted. Sodium, which is a metal, it is kept in kerosene because it is highly reactive with oxygen. That is why, in order to avoid the explosion, we keep it in sodium. The second is phosphorus, which is a non-metal. It doesn't react with water, but it reacts violently with oxygen. That is why it is kept in water. Now the next is reaction with acids. We know that metals and acids react to form salt and hydrogen. After this reaction, when a gas is produced, if we bring a matchstick, a burning matchstick, it will produce pop sound. This pop sound shows the presence of hydrogen gas. Okay, let's see with the help of an example. Sodium, that is Na, HCl, when it reacts with HCl, it gives NaCl. So NaCl is the chemical formula of table salt, the normal salt that we use at our home, and this hydrogen, it is liberated as gas. So in order to balance this equation, I have put here this 2 here. Okay, so I'll also be explaining the balancing of equations in some other video. Now the non-metals, when they react with acid, no reaction is formed, no reaction takes place. Okay, then the next is reaction with bases. When the metals react with base, they form hydrogen gas, that is again a gas which gives pop sound. The non-metals, they react with base, but very complex reaction it is, which produces salt and hydrogen. Okay, now I have prepared this table so that we can quickly go through all of the reactions. The metals react with oxygen to produce metal oxide, which is basic in nature. Non-metals react with oxygen to produce non-metallic oxide, which is acidic in nature. Then when metals react with water, metal hydroxide is formed, whereas no reaction is shown by the non-metals when they react with water. Then metals react with acids to produce salt and hydrogen gas. Again, no reaction is produced by non-metals. And at the last, bases react with metals to produce hydrogen gas, and when the non-metals react with bases, they produce salt and hydrogen gas. Okay, so these are some of the chemical properties that we have seen. The next is displacement reaction. This is very important type of reaction. As the name indicates, something is getting displaced by something else in this type of reaction. Now in this figure, we can take copper sulfate solution and zinc granules. The color of the copper sulfate solution is blue. Before the reaction, the color remains blue, and after the reaction, the color changes to colorless. That is, the solution becomes colorless. Now we see the zinc displaces copper from its position and forms zinc sulfate. So there is a reaction between zinc and sulfate. Zinc sulfate is formed, which is colorless, and copper granules are left behind at the bottom. In the second beaker, what we can do, we can take zinc sulfate solution and copper. But we notice that there is no reaction at all. Although we took similar type of solution, copper sulfate and zinc, then in this one zinc sulfate and copper, but still there is difference in the reaction. Now why this is so? Here we see this activity series is there, which comprises of many metals. Now these metals are arranged on the basis of their decreasing activity or decreasing reactivity. Okay, so you can say that K, that is potassium, is most reactive and this platinum is least reactive. How do we compare this? Now we will see this copper and zinc. Okay, copper gets displaced from its solution. So the position of copper is here and zinc is here. So you can say that zinc is lying at the top of copper. That is why zinc is more reactive than copper. That is why it was able to displace copper from its solution. Now we can say that copper is less reactive than zinc. So you know, in this reaction, copper, which is less reactive than zinc, it is not able to displace zinc from its solution. That is why there is no reaction taking place here. Now let's move on to the uses. First of all, the metals are used for machinery, automobiles, gadgets, because we know that they are easily malleable, they are ductile, they are hard enough. That is why these properties make them suitable for using in automobiles, gadgets or cooking utensils, etc. We know that the metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. That is why the utensils are made using metals. In our homes also, electrical wiring is done using metals only. Why? Because they are good conductor of electricity. Then if we talk about non-metal, the most important non-metal which we breathe, that is oxygen, and we know it is very important non-metal gas. Then non-metals like NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. These are used in fertilizers which increases the growth of the plants. Then in water purification process also non-metals are widely used, and non-metals are also used in making of crackers. So these are some of the uses of metals and non-metals. So in our next video we will be talking about some other topic. So till then, bye bye, take care and thanks for watching, and please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. This act of yours will motivate me to do better. Thank you.